Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm actually going to invite you to make your way up into a standing position for our beginning of our practice today. Just standing up toward the front of your mat, separating your feet hips width distance apart. Taking a moment just to bend into each knee a few times, make sure your knees aren't locked up. You can stack your shoulders above your hips, finding a tall spine. Your arms can just rest down beside your body. And feel the crown of your head gently reaching up toward the ceiling. Find a deep breath in through your nose, and then open your mouth and breathe out. And as you breathe out, bring your awareness down into your feet, just settling your attention in that place where your feet are connected to your mat. You might take a moment to lift up the toes on each foot. Try to separate your toes, and then set the toes back down lightly, trying to distribute your weight equally across your feet. Feel free to close your eyes or just settle your gaze at a single point in front of you. And as you breathe, just invite the muscles around your eyes and your jaw to soften. I'm going to invite you to begin with a little bit of shaking movement today, just getting a little energy moving in our bodies and creating a bit of an energetic release as well before we move into our seated poses this morning. So you might begin just by lightly shaking your hands. Whenever I start to move in this way, I find my body naturally starts to sway side to side, or some other movement comes in. So if you find that happens too, then just allow for that. Letting a little organic movement happen in your body as you just shake through your wrists, your fingers. Then you might let that shaking start to travel up your arms a bit. Just finding a nice wiggle, moving through elbows, moving them in different directions. And I just invite you to do this at your own pace. So you might have a really nice and kind of slow shaking movement, or you might be moving a bit more vigorously. Just depends how you're feeling this morning in your body, how things are wanting to move as we start to wake them up. Let's start to shake through the shoulders. So again, both shoulders can shake at once, or you can kind of wiggle shoulders around, back and forth. Remembering to breathe. And let that shaking move down your spine, into your hips, your glutes. You can keep your arms moving a little bit here. Just remember to breathe. Can you loosen up your jaw as your hips are shaking? Maybe let your head shake a little side to side. And then you have the option, if you want to stand on one foot for a few moments, shake out the other leg. Shake your foot, your knee, your ankle, and just let that leg shake out of the hip. And then let's go to the other side, making sure you find yourself balanced and shake out the other leg. Nice deep breaths. Let's bring both feet back down onto the floor. Slowly begin to come back into just a centered standing position. Both feet planted under your hips or slightly wider than your hips. Legs are straight, but your knees unlocked. And if you want to keep allowing a little bit of movement, side to side, you can feel free. because we just stirred up a lot of energy in the body, got the circulation going a little bit. So just observe what sensations are happening. Noticing your breath and starting to slow things down, making your way into mountain pose. Just eventually landing in a place of stillness, stacking your joints. Using an inhale, slowly circle your arms out and up, letting your palms join above you. And then exhale, draw your hands down to heart center. 2 more times. Inhale, feel your feet on the ground as you reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And last round, inhale, out and up. And exhale. Rest your thumbs at the center of your chest. Let your eyes close or your gaze move toward your fingertips. Taking your time, make your way down onto your mat and find a comfortable seated position. Well, feel free to bring a block or blanket underneath you. Even a pillow will work if you'd like to elevate your hips, which can just sometimes help to lengthen your spine. So you might sit cross-legged here or with your legs extended, or maybe even kneeling. Just want your spine to be long, drawing your shoulders back over your hips. Feel a gentle lift from the center of your chest straight up toward the ceiling. Let's begin with some shoulder rolls. Just beginning to circle your shoulders up toward your ears, and then together and down on your back. Finding your own pace and seeing if you can link this movement with your breathing in any way. You might inhale as your shoulders lift and exhale as they roll down your back. If you'd like to switch directions, you can find a few shoulder rolls, rolling your shoulders forward, drawing shoulders up your back and down the front. And then just gently start to let your shoulders soften and relax away from your ears. Unhinge your lower jaw from your upper jaw, just letting your teeth separate. Begin to dip your chin toward your chest. Moving slowly and starting with small circles, let's begin to find some head rolls. So rolling your head up and over toward the left shoulder, keeping your jaw nice and relaxed. And then just before you go all the way around in a circle, start to move back, down, chin toward your chest. And roll your head gently up the other side, letting the chin lift a little bit. And just continuing at your own pace. And notice how it is for your body to move a little bit more slowly. than when we were shaking our bodies. What feels different as you move in these shapes? Do you have a little more access to your breath? Can you sense the floor underneath you, grounding you? Slowly bring your chin back down to the center of your chest. Let your shoulders relax, your head hang heavy. And then using an inhale, bring head back up to neutral. And exhale here. Let's interlace our fingers together. Now for a gentler stretch, you'll extend your arms forward with your palms turned toward you and the fingers interlaced. If you have a lot of space in your shoulders and they feel pretty open, you can flip your palms and press your palms away from you. Pause here, just gently drawing your shoulders down your back, relaxing shoulders away from ears. Keep your lowest ribs hugging in toward your body, bringing a little awareness to your core. And then slowly begin to float your hands up toward the ceiling, any amount. If you find that it's difficult to breathe or you're noticing there's pain or too much intensity, just allow your arms to come down until it feels more comfortable in your body. To your degree, you can straighten through the elbows, continuing to press your biceps back beside your ears, behind your ears, whatever's available. Keep the crown of your head lifting up toward the ceiling, so we're lengthening through the spine, drawing lowest ribs in toward your body. Using an exhale, begin to float your hands down in front of you. Releasing your interlace, make fists and begin to circle your wrists. Feel your shoulders just start to relax. Let your breath flow. Circle your wrists in the other direction. Use your next inhale to circle your hands out and up. As you exhale, bring your right hand down, finding a side bend, up and over to the right. Now we'll move through these side bends with our breath. So as you inhale, gently rise back up, bringing palms up. As you exhale, left hand comes down, reach up and over. And then just move at your own pace. Again, linking this movement with your breathing. Let's find one more round on each side. Then inhale, both arms reach up, gaze to your thumbs. As you exhale, turn your palms out to the sides and just part the air around you, feeling that space around your body. Let your hands relax on your thighs. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Let's find one more long sigh in seated. Just a long breath in Open your mouth and long breath out, letting things soften and settle. If your eyes are closed, blink your eyes open. Let's gently transition into our table pose, coming to your hands and knees on your mat. Either open up your blanket across your mat to protect your knees, or fold up your blanket and just simply set it off to the side for now. And bring your shoulders above your wrists, your hips above your knees. Create a lot of space between your fingers. See how big you can make your hands. And then notice if you can connect all the skin on your palms and your finger pads to the floor. Starting to press down with your palms, with your knees and the tops of your feet, helping to ground your body and connect you to the ground and the floor. As you're pushing down, notice what muscles in your body start to engage and fire up. Let's start to soften and relax your body into this table pose. And then with an inhale, lower your belly and lift your gaze and your tailbone, finding a cow pose. Exhale, draw your belly in and press into the floor. Round your spine, cat pose. Keep going, either small or large movements in your spine. As you inhale, just find a big arch. And as you exhale, round. You can round through just your upper back, or you might curl your tailbone under and round your lower back a little bit as well. Make your way through one more round, moving in each direction. Taking a little extra long breath in and an extra long breath out. And then from a neutral spine, let's find table or child's pose, walking your knees out to the edges of your mat and then walking your big toes to touch behind you. Begin to sink your hips back toward your heels, any amount. Hands can walk forward to help lengthen your arms and the sides of your body as you gently rest forehead on a block, a pillow, or your mat. I'll offer an optional stretch for the back of the upper arms. If you'd like to lift your gaze, you can come up onto your elbows, then bring your forehead back down and touch fingertips or palms together. And just gently drawing your thumbs toward the back of your head. Let your hands rest onto your mat. As you inhale, lift your gaze and make your way back up onto your hands and knees. Walking knees beneath hips, tops of your feet still on the floor. You can either choose to lower onto your belly from here, or take a moment to step your feet back into a plank pose, engaging your core, firing up through your legs and your arms. Breathing for 5 breaths. If you'd like to lower your knees at any point to give yourself a break, feel free to do that. On your next exhale, gently bring knees down. Keep your core strong as you bend your elbows beside your body and lower your heart and your chin to the floor. Roll over your toes and then walk your elbows forward. We'll find a Sphinx pose today, just starting with a gentle heart opener. Forearms parallel, palms planted on the floor. Let your head drop down here so you can draw your shoulders more onto your back, lengthening your neck. And then as you're ready, begin to press into your elbows to lift your heart, letting your gaze fall just a few inches in front of your fingertips, keeping the back of your neck long. If you feel any sensation in your low back here, then I'd invite you to press down into the tops of your feet, firing up through your legs more. Noticing your breath. And can you lengthen your breath by a half a second? Using an exhale, we'll release, lowering the body. Let your arms go down beside you and bring one of your cheeks to the floor. You can have the back of your hands on the floor with your palms turned up, just letting your shoulders release. Let's gaze down toward the floor. Fire up your legs by pressing feet down. Now walk your fingertips off your mat out to the side and let your elbows lift. Draw your shoulders onto your back again, being really strong, hugging those shoulder blades together. Then with an inhale, push into fingertips and start to float your heart up. Now we're really not crunching into the low back here. The heart is lifting and reaching forward to keep your back long. Two more breaths. Let's engage our core. So keep your belly strong. Use your next exhale to roll down. Bring the other cheek to the floor. Send your arms back down beside you. Lifting your gaze, let's walk the hands back beneath the shoulders and make your way up into table pose. You can feel free to stay in table pose or tuck toes under and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Let's all keep knees bent at first, pressing into your palms and finger pads to send your tailbone high. Low belly draws up and in, making room for your back to extend.
Then you might start to explore bending into one knee and then the next, starting to stretch through the back of your legs. Eventually pressing both your heels down toward the floor. From wherever you are, gaze forward and slowly make your way up to the front of your mat. Bring your feet hips width distance apart, and we'll meet in a flat back, bending your knees generously, and bring your hands either onto blocks in front of you or onto your shins. Heart reaches forward, shoulders draw back. 2 breaths here, lengthening your spine. Use your next exhale to fold forward, releasing upper body over your legs and just letting your head hang heavy. Let your head nod and shake gently. Notice how your weight is distributed across your feet. And I invite you to play with your center of gravity. Just very small movements here, shifting a little bit more of your weight into the balls of your feet. And then rocking it back into your heels. And just exploring how that might change the stretch or change your sense of balance to create some movement. Using an inhale, make your way into a flat back. Then as you exhale, start to drop your hips down low, bending your knees. And we'll make our way into chair pose with your inhale, sweeping arms up. Exhale here, sinking weight back into your heels. Option to lift your toes off the floor. Tailbones just dropping straight down as your heart is lifting up. Long breath in, full breath out. Using an inhale, push down into your feet and slowly rise, joining the palms. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let your gaze settle in front of you. Unlock your knees. Feel your feet on the floor. As you breathe here, notice if there are areas of your body where you're feeling like you're holding a lot of tension or you're engaging muscles. And notice if you're able to find a little more looseness in your body. Still being grounded and connected through your feet, but a sense of fluidity through your physical form. Using an inhale, begin to reach your arms out and up. Softening your knees, exhale as you hinge at your hips and dive all the way down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. This time we'll bring hands down. You might use your blocks here, framing your feet.
or fingertips to the floor.
Work your left foot all the way to the back of your mat and then lower your left knee down for a low lunge. You might untuck your back toes there and make sure that your front knee is stacking directly above your ankle. Begin to engage through your belly. And using an inhale, lift your upper body until you're finding low lunge, biceps reaching up beside your ears. Of course, for anyone who's dealing with any shoulder issues, you can find cactus arms instead, just bending at the elbows, broadening across your shoulders. If you feel at all wobbly through your legs, press down harder with your right big toe and the ball of your right foot. With an exhale, start to reach your arms out to a T. And then start to twist upper body to the right, reaching the right arm behind you. Your left hand can come to your right thigh for a little stability. Just holding the outside of your right thigh. Begin to move your gaze in the same direction of your twist. Use your next exhale to gently release and bring your hands back down to the floor or your blocks around your front foot. Begin to let your hips rock back and coming up onto your right heel. You can slowly just wiggle that heel forward to work your right leg more straight. Feel free to keep a bend of any amount in your right knee. Of course, hands on blocks or firm pillows here might be really supportive, helping you to lengthen your spine a bit more. As you draw your right toes toward your shin, let's begin to hinge at our hips, folding over right leg any amount. Begin to lift your gaze. If you're using blocks, make sure your hands come back off the floor onto your blocks. And then let's start to bend into the right knee, bringing the foot back down and just coming back into that low lunge position. Fingertips can be on the floor here as you tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee, finding more of a runner's lunge. Letting the hips drop forward as your heart reaches toward the front of your mat. Then I'll invite you to take one or more steps with your back foot and bring your back foot up to meet your front foot. Let's fold over both legs. Take a bend in your knees and flip your palms. Gaze forward. With your next inhale, slowly sweep your arms out and up, reverse swan dive as you rise all the way to standing. Use your exhale to bring your hands to heart center. Long breath in and a full breath out. Reconnecting with your feet on the floor.
As you inhale, sweep arms out and up. Get long through the sides of your body as you gaze to your thumbs. Soften your knees. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And make your way into that low lunge. This time the left foot is forward. So step your right foot back and lower your knee, untucking right toes. And then just make sure your front knee is stacked above your ankle. Hands can be on the floor or blocks as you begin to engage your core. Abdomen muscles strengthening up, finding your center. And using an inhale, make your way up into low lunge. Let's be broad across the shoulders, so the neck can be long, relaxing your jaw. Pressing down firmly with your left big toe and the ball of your left foot this time. With your next exhale, open arms to a T. Then slowly begin to twist your upper body, bringing your right hand onto your left thigh. Reach your left hand behind you. And let your eyes gaze all the way to the left. Using an exhale, begin to release. Hands back to the floor or your blocks. And make your way into our half split, rocking hips back slightly till you can come up onto your left heel. And then just gently wiggle your leg side to side to lengthen your leg out of your hip, keeping hips square. Hands might be on blocks here. Find a long spine before you start to fold forward by reaching your heart forward and drawing your hips back. Then if you need more of a stretch, feel free to fold any amount over your leg. Soften through your spine. 4 more breaths. At your own pace, begin to make your way back into lunge. Left foot comes all the way onto the mat. Bend the left knee and walk your hands forward around your front foot. Tuck your back toes under and begin to lift your back knee, engaging through the back leg and finding more of a runner's lunge. So we still have this long spine. You might be on blocks or fingertips with the left foot forward. Start to move your gaze forward. And then take 1 or more steps to bring your back foot up to your front foot.
Fold over both legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your palms, walk your feet back. Now you can either rest in child's pose or table pose, or step back into your plank pose to move through vinyasa. Now as you exhale, you might bring knees down or lower in one piece. We'll bend the elbows, make your way onto your belly. Drawing shoulders back, press the tops of your feet down and inhale into your cobra or your upward dog if you're ready for that. Exhale, roll back down. Inhaling, push yourself back up onto hands and knees. And then let's all find a child's pose, walking knees out wide, big toes together, and letting your hips press back once again toward your heels. Forehead or a cheek can come down to the floor. Arms might stay extended, or for something a little different in your shoulders, you can wrap your arms around the outside of your thighs and let your shoulders slump forward. Taking your time, walk your hands forward and make your way back up, either into a table pose or into a downward facing dog. Let's find 6 or 7 long breaths wherever you've decided to land here. Reconnecting with the parts of you that are anchored to the floor. Let's gaze forward and all make our way up to the front of the mat. We'll meet there in a flat back. Reaching the heart forward, extending through the crown of your head, and drawing your shoulders down your back. Soften your knees, exhale, fold forward. Gazing forward, flip your palms, and inhale as you sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Find another long breath, just settling into standing. I invite you to find warrior one with your right foot forward. You might bring hands to hips to get set up. Work your left foot back, slightly offset from your right foot. Left toes are pointing at an angle up toward the front left corner of your mat. Start to bend into your front knee, remembering that you can have a short stance here or a very long stance, whatever feels most comfortable. Just want the back heel and the outside of your back foot to be firmly pressing down. With the hands on your hips, you can help to work your hips more towards square, toward the front of your room. Engaging through your core. Let's start to reach the arms up beside the ears. When we move into these warrior stances, they're really power poses in the body, building a lot of energy, getting the heart rate moving.
So even though you might feel some of that in your own system, see if you can also see how you are grounded through your feet, your strong legs holding you up. I'll invite you to slowly transition toward a warrior three, which is the balancing pose. We'll be standing on our front foot still. If you'd like to keep your hands reaching up, you can. For a little easier transition, hands can come to your hips. Feel free to have your blocks or pillows in front of you to bring your hands down onto to help with your balance. Going to engage through our belly and start to reach your heart forward over your front leg. And start to transition your weight more onto your front foot. You might come up onto your back toes and start to play with that little transition there, lifting and lowering your back foot. Eventually, you might lift your back foot all the way, straightening through your back leg, letting your heel float up toward the ceiling. Heart reaches forward. Just as that reminder, as your back leg lifts, you need to dip your heart down a little bit as it's reaching forward to help counterbalance your back leg. Your hands might come down to the floor or your blocks. Your arms might also reach behind you. Palms turned down, airplane arms. Start to bend more into your front knee, your standing knee. Let your left foot float down next to your right foot and fold over both legs. Take a few breaths here. If you'd like to find a rag doll, you can feel free to interlace hands into your elbow creases. Find any movement that you'd like, swaying side to side or letting your head nod or make small circles. Release your hands down toward the floor. Inhale, flat back. Keeping knees soft, let's exhale here with hands coming to your hips. Then press down into your feet and use your next breath in to let your spine lift all the way to standing. From here, we'll find warrior one on the other side. So you want your left foot forward and the right foot back. Feet are slightly offset again. So if you have your feet walking in a tightrope here, it's very difficult to square your hips and balance. So make sure there's a little bit of space between them. Your right toes should be at a slight angle up toward the front right corner of your mat. With hands on your hips, you can help to angle them more towards square, pointing your hips toward the front of your mat. Keeping belly strong, feel free to lift your arms up if that's okay, and your shoulders today. And just settling into this pose, finding your breath, letting your gaze soften. Begin to make your transition into warrior three. You might keep arms lifted or bring hands to your hips. Once again, coming up onto your back toes as you reach your heart forward a little bit and start to play with that transfer of weight onto your front foot. Just rocking lightly off your back foot and feeling more and more of your weight come onto your left leg. And whenever you're ready, you might find your balance by lifting your back leg up more. Hands can come to the floor or blocks, or they might float behind you, turning your palms down. Gently bend into your standing knee and float your right foot down next to your left foot. Fold over both legs. Take a moment just to bend into one knee and then the next. Letting your spine sway a little side to side. Your head nod. As you're ready, inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your palms, step back. Either find a resting pose or one final vinyasa, moving through a plank. Exhaling to lower to your belly or halfway down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog or a child's pose. If you're in downward facing dog, bring your knees down to the mat. Let's all make our way into a seated pose. This is a great time to bring your blanket back underneath your hips. From here, I'll invite you to extend both of your legs out wide. And if you are sitting on a blanket, scoot yourself all the way to the edge of that blanket so that it helps tilt your hips forward a little bit and lengthen your low back. Sitting up tall in your spine, flex your feet so your toes are drawing toward the wall behind you. Hands can stay resting on your thighs here for a little more of an active pose for 5 breaths. Let's reach the arms up, turning palms toward each other, getting really long through the sides of your body. One more inhale, big lift with your arms. Exhale, float your hands down onto the floor in front of you. Keeping your feet flexed, start to reach your heart forward. You can walk your hands forward as well, keeping your back long as you fold. Any amount here, elbows might come down or not. You can rest on a block or a pillow, or just hang out with your hands on the floor. Find a gentle tuck of your chin and let the crown of your head do the reaching forward. Make your way back up to seated. Just take your time as you walk your hands back in towards your lap. Bring your hands outside your your knees, excuse me. Lift your legs and then just make your way into a comfortable seated position, whatever that means in your body. Since we just did that big forward fold, I'll invite you to bring your fingertips behind you. Just tent them on the floor right behind your lap so the fingertips point toward the wall behind you. Start to draw your shoulders onto your back and then press into your fingertips and let your heart reach up. You might even reach up with your chin. Just try not to let your head fall completely back with no control. Lowering your gaze, gently release. Let your hands rest again on your thighs. And take a moment here just to see if you're comfortable for a few minutes of a seated meditation. If you need to make any adjustments, feel free to do that. Bringing any more props under you to support your body. And once you find a comfortable seat, you can choose to keep your eyes open, just softened toward the floor, or let your eyes gently close. Now your hands might be resting facing down on your thighs, and that's a bit more of a grounding position. If you would like, you can also explore flipping your palms over, which is more of an open and receiving posture for the palms to be in. So I invite you just to explore which one of those actually just feels best for you today. And begin to draw attention to your breathing. Relaxing your belly, letting your spine, those bones all the way up your back, do the work of holding you up straight so you can soften and relax through your upper body. Soften through your breath. And I'll offer just a short practice of Tonglen meditation today, which is an ancient Buddhist practice, meditation actually. But this meditation practice is really meant for healing our world, healing ourselves and healing our world. And the way you do it is simply by just considering all of the pain and the suffering in your world, in our world. And you breathe in. You breathe right in. And then as you breathe out love, and safety, and comfort. And you send it out of your body to yourself, to your world, and to the whole world. You hold the pain and the suffering of the world on your inhale. You just breathe right into it. And then as you exhale, you send out all of that love and compassion, that infinite love and compassion that you contain. Just breathing slowly. And if it connects a little more easily to you, you can just visualize breathing in and out different qualities or colors. On your inhale, you can breathe in a dark, thick, icky brown color. And as you breathe out, you might just see sparkling light or golden healing light. And feel free to just make this meditation your own practice. One that just transforms the suffering into love. Anytime your mind naturally wanders, just know that that's what your mind does. And just come back to that exhale, breathing out that warm glow, surrounding yourself, that loving energy. And imagining it emanating as far out from your body as you can. And gradually begin to leave this effort of the mind, letting go of control over your breathing. Noticing if you sense your mat underneath your body. And just being curious about what is present within you in this moment. Knowing that there's no good or bad emotion. And yoga is a practice of sitting with our comfort and with our discomfort. And keeping your gaze soft, and slowly make your way down onto your back. Moving your props out of the way. Unless you like to roll up a blanket, perhaps bring it under your knees for a supported resting pose. And just gently let yourself come all the way down onto your back. Feel free to take up lots of space on the floor, reaching your arms out wide. Walking your shoulders down away from your ears so your neck can be long. Find a long inhale through your nose. Sigh it out your mouth. And just invite your body into a state of rest. Trying to release effort from your mind, from your physical body. Just allowing things to be as they are on your mat. Gradually bring your attention back to your body. Taking a moment to sense the floor underneath you and all those places where you are connected to the floor. And then notice all the space around you, space around the sides of your body and above your body. And see if you can sense that area where your body meets the space around your body. And begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then move through your ankles and your wrists slowly. Unhinge your jaw. Let your head rock a few times side to side, just massaging the back of your neck, releasing your neck. And at your own pace, begin to make your way over onto either side, drawing your knees in, letting your head rest on your bicep of your bottom arm. And taking a slow transition here, spending some time there on your side. And keeping your gaze soft. Use your arm strength to start to push your way up to seated. Coming into your version of a comfortable seated pose. I'll offer the option to either bring your hands onto your belly and your heart, or your solar plexus and your heart, or join your palms together at heart center, resting your thumbs against your sternum. Letting your chin lower, your gaze to your fingertips or eyes closed. Can you spend a moment just cultivating a seed of gratitude for yourself? Finding a spot within you that's thankful that you took the time to practice yoga today. And I hope you will receive my gratitude. I so deeply appreciate you being here to practice with me this morning. And the light within me bows to the light in you. Namaste.